Welcome to Emuna is Our Future with Renewal and the COVID-19 Challenge. The COVID-19 Challenge, the Coronavirus Challenge. This is our weekly live Emuna class coming not from Chutz Chesed, but coming from our wonderful home in Jerusalem, being live streamed to everybody. Hopefully we'll get out this version. It will be as best as it can be. Everyone's staying at home, and that includes the video team. So we've got to make the best of everything, as everyone is aware. That thank God there's wonderful live streaming going on all around the world, and wonderful classes and opportunities to inspire and join together. We have an Emuna Day coming up, Rosh Chodesh Nissan on this week, Thursday. It's a big time for everyone to thank Hashem. Been putting it out there, and I received this from my friends in Mexico City. They were the ones who invited us so kindly to be part of that. And we hope that everyone would join together, and we'll post it in our wonderful streams and posts below. Thank you. So let's begin today. What is Rosh Chodesh Nissan? What is this beginning, this renewal? What is this opportunity to start again at such a challenging time that we all find ourselves in? And the fact I'm sitting in my room is already like, this is not expected. And we've got to really go with this and appreciate. And by the way, there will be noise around because this is part of the stay-at-home fun of, basically they're calling it social distancing, but physical distancing, that we have to stay away from the world out there generally, and unless it's essential, and everyone should be keeping the health guidelines from the World Health Organization and all the other important doctor and updates that are going on. Well, that's not our channel here to give advice in those areas, any ideas, any cures or anything like that. It's only just segula, like just things to give people some inspiration. And Rabbi Elgrod has been dealing that. Rabbi Dayan Elgrod, you're welcome to tune into his daily halakhic corner and get some of the advice from a big rabbi and judge, a Jewish judge. That's why he's called Dayan in Shalom. So anyone who's tuning in right now, I just want to apologize on behalf of Chutz Chesed and thank again Rav Shalom Arush for the English translation that we were able to put out with Rav Elgrod's help. And there was a bit of confusion, and I'm not one to ever go in that way. I'm all about unity. My whole process is Unity Inspires projects. I'm all about bringing everyone together. And like I said, I'm getting a lot of inspiration from all the different works other organizations are doing. And, as Chutz Chesed, Emuna is Our Future, and Breslev Israel, we're trying to, as our teams, trying to put together some positive content every day to keep everybody in a more Emuna and uplifted, inspired mindset. We do apologize if there was some confusion about recent posts that came out, and people were like, how can it be? It seems like there's making separation between the Jewish people and the world in terms of the coronavirus. Obviously, this is a human reality. There's no racial distinction. Everybody is human, and we're made in the image of God, and everyone has that unifying concept of vulnerability and reality. And the only way we can make any differences is just to do with responsibility, like who has different responsibilities, just like in every single army or government or organization or anything, family, even family structure. There's a father, a mother, or nowadays I suppose there are differences, but we have family, parents, children, grandparents. We have different ways of giving responsibility. So the Jewish people do have a specific responsibility to be a light unto the nations. That it says and explicit, and it's nothing racial. It's just an opportunity for us to fulfill our purpose in the world. But that would be the only distinction that we'd be happy to be consistent with, and that's a positive one, just to be more positive and upbeat and light filled, and with bringing that representation of godliness into the world, but not, God forbid, to make any distinction towards that. We're not susceptible, because everybody is susceptible, as we've seen, and everybody's going through a hard time in a universal level. We're all together, and we all know how much Rav Shalom Arush has put out his universal garden of Emuna, his universal teachings, and I've been personally in his presence when there's all different kinds of people from all different places of the world, all the different kinds of nations, and it doesn't make a difference who you are, what color, what gender. He gives tremendous focus and love and connection to that person, obviously in a permissible way, and he's able to give that inspiration and advice with love and Emuna, and that's always going to be consistent for everything we're doing, that there's a love of mankind, humankind. There's a love of everybody, of womankind, every different kind of people that we find, and race. There's no distinction. So that's the first thing, a disclaimer that if there was any confusion and from any messages, there's the world, and thank God, we're all looking for that hopeful message. And that's what we're going to discuss today, that there's renewal. Where does this power of renewal come from? So it says in the Torah, Rosh Chodesh Nissan, it's a tremendous power of its chadshus. We just read it last week, Shabbos HaChodesh, and this week on Thursday, like we said, there's this Rosh Chodesh Nissan, this new renewal of the lunar calendar. It starts again, and as we climax Adar, Mishan Ignas Adaman B'Simcha, we're ending this Adar, even though as hard as it seems, but with increased joy, we're going into an opportunity of renewal. So we're going to try and make this real according to our reality. And we have to also know it's Rebbe Nachman's birthday on Rosh Chodesh Nissan, and that's a very deep foundation. Personally, like, I didn't grow up religious. I've spoken about this in past classes, and I, had a journey when I was about 18, 19. And go back to our other Emunas, our future classes, to see a little bit about my journey. We're trying to get inspiration going, and that time period where there was those challenges, feeling a little bit overwhelmed by life, and right now this is something which is on a universal level. People are feeling very vulnerable, and God forbid, bordering on panic, and there's a tremendous feeling of unknownness and how we're going to support ourselves, etc. And we're going to have to go through all the different wonderful speakers who all gave a lot of encouragement on that level, like Charlie Harari, the idea of God holding us on the monkey bars, He's not going to let us go, and then Moshe Weinberg clarifying further with the idea of Hasta Anochi Asta Ponai, with Hashem hiding His face. And remember that we are in between those two times of where God really revealed Himself in different ways on Purim and Pesach, Gula Samach Gula. We spoke about this last week. This idea that we are in a time where the redemption's taking place both before in Purim and at the end of another 2 weeks, actually, only less than 2 weeks. With Pesach, with Passover, we had the opportunity to feel Hashem's kindness envelop us. But at the same time, let's be real, like we're sitting in our homes, we're not doing our jobs in the normal scenario of office, and we're not, the kids aren't at school, and everything's changed. There's just been such a refocus. And with that challenge comes an opportunity when these kind of things happen for us to really re-collaborate, establish and renew our commitment to what is God trying to say to us, what is our purpose, what is our personal mission, like we said before, our responsibility, what are we responsible for. So personally for me and many other fathers, it would be to our wife, to our children, and that's where I have to give tremendous credit to my wife and my children. They've been amazing. Months of the stay-at-home situation with my family, and seeing how they're able to be misadeh, like being able to organize themselves, and they have a schedule. I put it out there in the Shabbos schedule. The Shabbos schedule was amazing. It was one of the best Shabboses, and that gave us an opportunity. I have to work on my character attributes, but basically once we calm down and start tuning into that, we've got beautiful souls in our life. We've got a soulmate, and we've got beautiful children that have come through that. And thank God, the larger family, we get to reach out to our parents on a weekly or even hopefully daily level, who are sitting in England and some in Israel, and to really reach out with love to everybody, and to not just forget, Netanya, wow, we've got family in Netanya also. So to remember that everyone is on the larger level going through this together on a universal level, but it has to be of a spirit of renewal. And that was Rabbi Nachman's deep message that I got when I first transformed my life to spirituality, to a more spiritual mindset from a less secular mindset, which I think everyone now has to do on a simple level. And that doesn't mean grow beards and all this stuff. It means just on an inner level to really get that inner message of spirituality, of understanding, of values, and what are we here for. So we're here for the family, yes. We're here for the focus into our children, that they are people that are important. And as my wife keeps explaining to me so well, is that we have to really experience the moment and experience those moments. So once I've done this class for this week, I am going to be posting and doing stuff, but personally my focus will be to apply this. And it's, because when you prepare a class, your mind's a little bit like in a more abstract level, but to try to bring it down into reality, now you've done your creative stuff. Like, for example, we wrote a poem called Historic Days. Yeah. So, and we played a song and we put it out there on Relationship Flow to be able to get that opportunity to express how we're feeling. But in the end, the most important part is to actually share it with the people we're with. I don't mean just put out the song online. I mean actually like talk to them and have relationships. And that means relationship renewal. We have to renew our relationships with our loved ones. And Rebbe Nachman, who was this light that came into the world, perfect timing on Rosh Chodesh Nissan. As I said, everything's absolute divine providence. The fact that we're sitting here and discussing this, the fact that the studio is not available right now, it's okay, so we're doing it in our house, not the same quality, and it won't have all the edits and the funky background and all that stuff. But like what's behind me is a nice teddy bear for my wife, so that's a pretty cool background. But the point is that what we got to do is tune in to the fact that we're meant to be where we're meant to be. And Rebbe Nachman came down into this world to reveal this renewal of Judaism, this renewal of light, not just for the Jewish people, for the whole world. He was able to talk to anybody and everyone about spirituality. No matter how atheist or whatever disconnected any person seemed to feel they were, he was able to sit down, play a game of chess, and discuss the level of the souls and be able to go on a journey with these people, or whatever it was that he was able to create that platform. He was able to connect, and that was one of his messages in a deep way, this renewal, because the soul's constantly renewing itself, the creation's constantly renewing itself. This whole coronavirus, this challenge that we're going through, is constantly renewing itself, and any minute it could renew itself to the point where it's no longer relevant as a challenge because we're past. That's really what's going on. We're being tested. So if we tune in to the fact that creation's renewing itself and allow ourselves to connect into the light of these righteous people, these great advice of renewal, that we're not getting old and we're not stuck in our home and we're not addicted to Netflix, we're actually renewing our connection to the people we love. And this is an opportunity. As Rabbi Jacobson so beautifully said, we now have the opportunity to really build our relationships with our family and be bebeso, be in our house for Pesach, to be Passover, to really experience in our immediate family. Now look, there are lots of people, God forbid, Hashem Shemenu, who are suffering coronavirus in an intense way, and that's where we have to say big thanks, like Tim Ferriss put out there, a big thanks to all the health professionals, and BB was clapping and all the people in Israel were clapping. We have to go onto our mapesets, we have to go on our balconies, I have mine just right here, and clap all the health professionals to say thank you to them for what they're doing, for all the people that are sick, God forbid, that need a full shlema, that need a full healing. Rabbi Arush is praying for them. I'm praying. Every person can pray for all the sick, b'toch Klal Yisrael, b'toch the whole world. Everyone who's suffering from this coronavirus. We should renew our prayer service in our home, to bring back the prayer service to our home and renew it, to renew our connection to what it means to pray to God and to renew it with our family. They should see us praying to God, to connect and ask for this virus to not have such a negative effect. And all the health professionals should be saved from this coronavirus, and they should all have strength and energy to do what they need to do. And then Tim Ferriss, very practically, go to his website, go and see what he's put out there. He's in Texas, actually. He is in Houston, Texas. No, not Houston. Houston. I think so. So he's over there, one of those places around in Texas somewhere. And someone can correct me, it's fine. But the point is, you go to his website, and he is putting out different opportunities for us to donate. And all these big influencers are doing the same. Even Trevor Noah is joking around, but he's trying to feed the kids or whatever. Each person's got to think, get masks to all the health professionals, and all these different opportunities now to be more proactive in kindness. So for us, right now on Emuna is our future. We're sitting in Israel, we're sitting in Jerusalem. There are so many families who live hand to mouth. I have to say honestly, like, we're a little bit borderline on that level. And now with Nissan Black, there's no more, bookings. We're still putting out Mazel Tovs and putting out a song, Please God, from Nissan Black with Torah Box, and we just put one out with Chaim David Burson, and we're putting out music still, but there's no concerts, no income. So all of us, and that's just my personal, and there are loads of people in the Chesed community, in Rav Arush's community, who need Kimcha de Pischa, and they need opportunity. So we're putting a link below, and this is our offer of kindness, to also give thanks to all the people who work hard around Rav Shalom Arush to make sure the Emuna message goes out, is shared, and all the people, the communities in Israel who are keeping up Yerushalayim in a spiritual way, in a Emuna way, they all need more help this Pesach. So you can all partner below with the Breslev Israel link. It's just below in all our posts. So anyway, that is an opportunity to do more kindness kindness. That's renewing our kindness to the world, to the people around us. But once again, to remember that the family comes first, and to make sure you renew the family kindness, and it will bring blessing and bracha to all of you. The more you renew, the more you start again, and not just say, oh yeah, all these old cynical ways of thinking. No, start fresh. Let's clean out our minds from the chometz. That's what we're doing right now, getting ready for Pesach. And we have to thank again the family working so hard to do so, including I'm trying to help a little bit. And we have the opportunity to just renew our mindset, to have a new mochin de gadlus, to have a clean, not just clean hands, but clean mind, clean heart, and to start again, start fresh. And that was a big power that Rebbe Nachman's teaching us. So now, what else is happening? On Rosh Chodesh Nissan 2020, we get the encouragement to overcome this coronavirus challenge. Yeah, so we said before, everything's timed very specifically, and what we need to do is really change. That's the next point, tshuva. And Rabbi Arush is always giving us that inspiration of change and renewal. And Rebbe Nachman for sure, it's all about tshuva, hamtein, and all the different beautiful Torahs he talks about. So we're going to celebrate this week and this Shabbos, please God. It's a new Parsha, Vayikra, a new Sefer, a new beginning. We're in the Mishkan, and like we say, we have to bring that into our home. All these ideas of offerings, how now have to come a self-sacrifice in the house, self-sacrifice to the outside world through any donations if we have. And even if it's hard, but the more hard it is, the more the self-sacrifice, the more it creates a rech nechayach laHashem. It makes a wonderful aroma, it makes a tremendous pleasure, and we have to realize how much pleasure Hashem is getting. So I'm going to read a little bit some of my wife's poem, just to calm down a little bit, because we said I have a lot of ideas. And yes, Hashem should protect all of creation. Someone just wrote. And we're going to talk, it's called Historic Days. I'm going to put out a song, please God, at some point. There's a rough version going on my relationship flow. I'm going to put it out on my Unity flow, maybe even on the Emuna is Our Future, if it comes out professional enough of just using my phone and sitting in my house with a guitar. And you guys haven't really seen me with a guitar, but I do have one. And it's important right now. A friend from mine who's just come back from Amsterdam back to London said to me, we're seeing everyone around becoming more creative. Everyone's now being more creative. Like this Lewis House guy, who another influencer, he's putting out like a whole different version of his podcast and much more to just comfort everybody and so they shouldn't come to panic, and give a lot of tools so people calm down. And same with even like Tom Billy, who's a more intense guy also. And then you have say Brene Brown. She just started a new podcast, could have been this big big PR and big events and all this stuff, and she just had to sit in her house. She said she was like sitting underneath some of her kids' junk, giving over the podcast. And she's someone who's on a big level now, but being vulnerable, being real, and realizing that we really don't know what's going on. And that is that we're all going through this. You see the universal feeling that's going on and on. So I'm going to read this poem, and we're going to just tune in a little bit. And excuse me if it doesn't, this is the handwriting. So here we go. Historic Days, written by my wife, and the title and the music's going to be by myself, Masha Goldsmith and Eddie Goldsmith. In many years, when you are big, you will tell of this pandemic when you were a kid. We were on shutdown, stuck inside. From ourselves we could not hide. Schools, shops and restaurants had to be closed. People wore masks and gloves. The streets were hosed. I've seen it. Crazy time. As we sat inside, we understood what was really important, that this was all for our good. It really is for our good. Like Rabbi Arush says, Akol Tova, it's all for our good. We had to look inside and be more real. As we're talking about all these podcasts, everyone's waking up. We have to change, real change, more real. Have time for ourselves to actually heal. This is what we're going to have to really change to be able to survive our Shalom bias, our Hinnuch, our education. To really be able to do this properly, we're going to have to change. I know myself, I can't carry on being the old Ellie Goldsmith. It's just not going to work. It's going to be renewal and change. That's what's going to have to be for this to work. We had silence to hear our inner voice, away from the noise from which escape was not a choice. There's so much noise, but thank God we can tune in now to learn about ourselves and each other, have time to focus on our sister and our brother. Beautiful, to learn more about who we are, face ourselves and purify our hearts. Yes, our thoughts waver from hope to fear, then from fear to hope, things become more clear. Yep, who's not going through that? on some level, like back, forth, fearing, and then clarity, and then fearing. This is the constant back and forth, and that's once again a renewal, constantly changing, growing, dealing with ourselves. Then to accept what was in front of me, from having to do with less but wanting more, to understanding, accepting that we're actually here for. What are we here for? So that's the historic days that we're in. I mean, it was written better than I said it, but please God, everyone should be creative. Share your unity content, your Emuna content. We're in this together. That's the whole world, everybody. And we're all here. No dissing each other online anymore. Let's all be together. Let's post, let's share, let's join together. We've got a lot of Emuna content coming out every day, giving some articles and helping us to have more Yerushalayim, more clarity. Let's join together, and all the different speakers, all the different inspirational people, and all of you, everyone else, you can come up. I've been amused, I've been entertained, I've been inspired, and I'm sure all of you also, all by your mutual friends. And I've had calls with friends I haven't usually had. I've seen these weddings going on, unbelievable weddings of what people are keeping the social distancing or physical distancing, let's call it, and they're keeping all the rules, and yet they're still driving around, inspiring everyone in their communities, or they're having balconies, everyone's jumping and dancing and singing and rejoicing, and mazel tov to everyone out there getting married right now. And all the different other simchas, people are reaching out for the mitzvahs. Rabbi is saying mazel tov, and this in black saying mazel tov. I'm saying mazel tov. No one's asked me for a video yet, but I don't care. I'll say mazel tov. Yeah, we should all say mazel tov and wish everyone congrats. Whatever society, whatever world, people who are still getting married in the rest of the world, congratulations. And all your simchas, all your times of happiness should just grow. We shouldn't let this pandemic take over our joy. We should keep going with joy, with love and real soul, and to go ahead together, all of you. I do again remind you, please send me your content. We want to keep sharing. Share this video, get out the message. Look, it's not the most professional, but it's real, and that's what life really has to come to now. It's all about real renewal, and we will overcome this challenge, this coronavirus challenge together. And please God, at some point, we'll all be coming together to celebrate the end of this virus, and there'll be a divine blessing for everybody. Everyone will have a full healing, and everyone will work together. There'll be unity and unification. And please God, that's what's going to happen in a revealed way. And right now, while it's still not so clear and not so revealed, we have to keep strengthening ourselves and renew and go ahead. Wishing everyone a good Chodesh, a good month. And thank you again for tuning in to Emuna is our future weekly class. And I look forward to hearing your Emuna content, unity content, and seeing us all sharing only good news and good health. All the best. Thank you.